Uh-oh. You're frozen to me. Okay, there we go. You were frozen. You're like,
Welcome back, everybody, to Beery Good Entertainment. This is episode 78, recorded on February 8th, 2020. I am here with my good friend Lola. Hi, Lola. How you
Hi,
doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Oh, I think I'm probably a little bit more relaxed than you are because
Well,
last night I went out and had some, lovely Thai
so
food. I feel
nice.
kind of loosey goosey now,
Oh,
and
fun. That sounds so awesome. I haven't been out like to a restaurant in forever. But Friday, I told Clint for Valentine's Day I want to go to Hibachi.
oh, I love those
I
places.
do too.
So delicious.
And it's a good place to go on a day when you know it's going to be crowded because, they seat so many people at one time that you really don't have to wait long.
Yeah.
You I mean, I think the most I've ever waited on Valentine's was half an hour.
Yeah.
And considering it's Valentine's, that's not that bad of a wait.
Yeah, we usually don't go out on Valentine's
Yeah.
Day. So not in the commercial thing. We hate crowds and
Mm.
if it were warm enough to maybe go outside and have a drink at the German place.
That would be nice.
It's been nonstop rain here.
Oh no. It was storming here the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tonight's topic of healthcare in the United States is
Spoiler, it sucks.
it really does. It really does suck.
I
It
wait,
is
I better be
contentious. It is contentious enough that I decided that I had to have and then
mhm.
something a little sour and something a little bitter, just to get my
Okay.
mind in the right frame of reference.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with Duchess
Nice.
Cherry. Now,
Sounds nice.
Now I know I've had this Flanders. This is a Flanders red.
Mhm.
I've had the regular Duchess de Bourgogne. I finally learned how to say it.
Good. Okay.
Bourgogne. Um,
Mhm.
earlier on an earlier episode.
Mhm.
This is 6.8%, and I'm going to use a sherry glass because I'm a wimp when it comes to Flanders. I don't usually like them very much. I just want to
Oh,
see.
that's very red.
Very
It's
red.
very bubbly.
I just want to see if it actually has cherry in it. It does have a lovely amount of carbonation, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
It looks like a framboise, the whatever you call them
Oh,
that
the
I like.
creeks, the
Yeah,
creek
the
beer.
creeks.
I
It looks like
love
a creek.
creek
I
beers.
do too. I haven't had one in a long time.
Hand this over to the and I do love the artwork, even though it's Brewery Verhaga is very big now, but I
Oh.
still love their classic, Belgian style artwork on the
It
bottom.
looks like a piece of artwork from the 1700s.
It does. It absolutely
Look,
does.
looks like something I would have studied in art history.
It does. It does smell like a typical Flanders with just the barest hint of fruitiness off
Hmm.
it, which isn't too different from the regular Flanders.
Okay.
Mm. But yeah, there's cherry in it.
Ooh, nice. I love cherry.
I don't know whether it's just my tasting. It doesn't seem as thick as the regular one.
Mm.
And there's a healthy layer of cherry. I actually think I like this one better than the regular one.
Okay.
I think
Cool.
I could take more than a sherry glass sipping of it.
Yeah.
I think I'll go to town on this one while you describe your beer.
All right, so I got a bunch of beer I've never had before. I went to ABC Liquor and went a little bit crazy. I haven't been to a beer store in several months. So, and they don't have singles as much as they used to. So I ended up having to get a bunch of 6 packs and 4 packs. So hopefully I like these. This, I can't, my eyesight is for, what now. I see the Nutter Cup. It says Nutter Cup. And it has like, little peanut guy. That's appropriate because Mr. Peanut got killed recently. So do you see the little
Oh,
peanut guy?
yes.
Yeah, he's kind of dead. He's torn in half. It's a porter, and I cannot tell what the brewery is. I really can't. I just got it because I know I like peanut butter. I like porters, and so I thought I might like it.
Brewlink Brewing Company.
Does it say where it's at?
Brewlink
I
Brewing.
can see that.
Brewlink Brewing is from Indiana.
Indiana, look at that. Home of John Cougar Mellencamp. And
I did not know that.
yep.
How do you
And
pull out these tiny little things of wonderful little trivia?
if it's pop culture, I know it. Basically. I don't know things that are important. Like I can't name you all of the countries in Africa, but I can tell you where John Cougar Mellencamp. I can tell you Madonna's complete name. Do you want to know her full name?
Yes.
Madonna Louise Veronica Ciccone.
Wow.
Her daughter's name is Lourdes. They call her Lola. Her son's name is Rocky.
Well,
Speaking of Lola,
my mother has 7 names. So, yeah.
yeah, that's the
yeah.
way it goes. Yeah,
Yep.
that's a Italian and Spanish thing, I think, having all those names. I'm
Yes,
just
but
happy.
she's Irish. Well, she's not Irish. She's like Canadian, but she came from Canada. But I don't know. She's just
I
got
don't
a
know.
bunch of names tagged on
I
there.
I guess her parents couldn't decide. Maybe.
The church, I think the church tags on a name, and like you get all the married names, and yeah.
Maybe it's a Catholic thing. Was she Catholic? Is she Catholic or raised
She may have
Catholic?
baptized. She may have been baptized Catholic. I was baptized Catholic, even though I've left the
Okay.
church.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know because I know that's not like a Methodist thing. It's not a
Yeah.
Protestant thing having all those names. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of Lolas, this is totally off topic, but I remember when Annie Lennox's daughter Lola was born because I was so excited that she named her daughter after me. I was totally flattered. Well, her daughter Lola is 30 now and has her own music video. I haven't watched it yet, but I want to
Oh,
see it.
wow. That's
Isn't that cool?
fantastic.
I know. I'm like, Lola Lennox. Yay! It makes me excited. I'm like, I feel like part of me had something to do with it. I had nothing to do with it, but like I was there from the beginning.
You go, Lola. You go.
I know that shows you how long I've loved Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics. A good 35 years. Well, since 1984, and that was 36 years ago. Oh my
Wow.
God, that was a long time ago.
Oh, Brewlink actually has a bunch of interesting like
Ooh,
beers. Like Double O looks like it could be like an Oreo beer,
ooh,
and
interesting.
milkshake. It looks like milkshake. It's really
Neat.
bunch of different cute cans.
Oh gosh, this is definitely peanut butter. This smells like what are those cookies that I love? Nutter butters?
Nutter butters. They're
This totally
delicious.
smells like a nutter butter. Like, okay, I can almost feel it's so like the smell is like thick like peanut butter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's like I feel the peanut butter kernels going up my nose. It's awesome. I love it. A1 on the smell. Let's see everything else. And I know the lighting's not great. I didn't feel like going to the Lidit's computer and sitting up. I was sitting here doing the stuff on the computer, so I just stayed here.
Looks dark. It has a nice head.
It is. It is bubbly too.
You pour so beautifully now.
Thank you. Well, you taught me. I wouldn't have done it without you. All right. Oh, it's gonna go over. I better stop. Got a nice head. Look at that. Isn't that incredible?
Oh yeah.
That is
That-
amazing.
Look at that. It just fits perfectly right in your glass.
It is perfect. Nice head, a little bit of lacing. It just looks so whole and complete. It's beautiful. I would call it a dark brown, but it's got sort of like a copper sheen on it, which could just be the light coming through. But it is absolutely gorgeous. Definitely still getting that peanut butter. Definitely, oh my God, like a nutter butter.
Well, you ought to be okay. It's 6.5%.
Yeah, I should be okay. Of course, I got more beer in there. Definitely got the peanut butter. I got peanut butter more than anything else.
That's
It really,
fantastic.
yep. It kind of tastes like they took a Nutter Butter and like crinkled it up in here. Because it's like I taste peanut butter. I mean, the texture of peanut butter, that creamy thickness.
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of feels like it's got that. I don't know how they do that, but
They may have poured a bunch of maltodextrin in there, which is a non-fermentable sugar that can really build up the
okay.
texture. They may have
Hmm.
poured a bunch of that in there, or they may have put peanut butter in there. Who
It seems
knows?
like they did. I mean, it really feels like peanut butter. It's amazing. So good.
I admire breweries that can really bring out those flavors because there are so many people who attempt it, and I've attempted peanuts, and
Hmm.
it just fails spectacularly. Either you don't get ahead,
Hmm.
or it tastes oily and nasty, you
Or just a
know?
little off or something.
Yeah, or it tastes like it's gone off.
Yeah.
So these breweries that can manage to do the peanut butter beers, thumbs up. You
This is
guys, you guys are on it.
great. I mean, they've got the texture, the viscosity, the smell, the taste, everything. If you like peanut butter, this is for you. Oh,
Oh,
it's so good.
fantastic.
Oh.
And
Mm.
for our local hop lovers, I know I haven't thrown much love to the hop lovers lately.
Oh, okay.
I've got St. Archer's Hazy IPA.
Ooh, that's very pretty.
Yeah, it is a 6.2%, 48 IBU, and
Okay.
I need assistance reading the can.
I'm the same way.
Oh my goodness. It's just a
No.
little dark. Oh. Yeah, 6.2. And there was only the 19-ounce can available. I really wanted a hazy IPA because hazy seemed to be super popular nowadays. Founded on a unique strain of creative talent. Oh, I thought they were going to tell us the strain of yeast. I got
Yeah,
all
I know.
excited. Okay, I don't see anywhere where they're going to tell me the hops.
They're so proprietary about that sometimes, some of these beer companies. I want to know.
Sometimes. Yeah, I'd like to know too.
Because that's how I determine if I'm going to buy a beer, because I know which ones I don't like.
So I know I'm not looking for clarity.
Oh, but it's very pale. It's
Yeah.
yellow. It's very light yellow.
It's just a regular IPA, and 48 IBUs is just over the minimum limit of
Okay.
40 for an IPA.
So it's just moderate, you think?
So it's
Probably
just
gonna be
a
moderate.
moderate.
Okay.
Shouldn't be too much, and it is slightly hazy.
Yeah, I can't see through it.
I mean, I can see through it a bit. Very straw
Okay.
yellow.
Yeah, very straw yellow.
Very floral. I would say
Hmm.
Mosaic went into this.
See, and I would like that. I like floral hops.
It does. It has this lovely, with just a hint of grassy aroma.
Hmm.
It smells like new hops almost.
Okay. And I like fresh hop. The wet hops. I remember I like wet hops.
Mm. Okay, not like I don't get very much of the bitterness at all, but
Hmm.
definitely lots and lots of floral hops going down, and it doesn't stick around at all. So
Okay.
this would be absolutely fantastic when you're eating something you don't want to
Hmm.
overwhelm,
Yeah. Just
or if you're
complements the food. Huh?
exactly, or if you're just sitting around, you want a beer for the football games.
Yeah.
This is definitely a good one. A couple more sips, and hmm, now I get a little bit of the hops sticking around on the back of my tongue. Still
Okay.
very floral, just a touch bitter. It's very refreshing.
I probably would like that.
Hmm. I'd say you would definitely like it. Very light, very refreshing. It's not too thick, but it's definitely not too thin. You definitely know you've got an IPA in your hand.
Okay. Cool.
I'd even ask for just a few more IBUs out of this. It's not enormously malty, but I'd
Hmm.
like a few more IBUs to kind of cut the malty flavor in it.
Okay.
Very nice. It's a very nice beer. I would definitely, if I was craving an IPA, I would definitely get it.
All right. Neat.
Gonna be a great one for summer.
Yeah, that's good to know. Was it expensive? I don't remember if you said.
Oh no, this was $2.69
That's pretty good.
for the 19-ounce can.
That's actually very good. Um, that's nice.
I
Okay.
don't think I wouldn't get a 6-pack of it all at once because I'm just not that big of an IPA
Yeah,
drinker
you probably
anymore.
wouldn't drink it. Yeah, and IPAs they can kind of go bland if you don't drink them within a month or so.
Yeah,
They lose that.
yeah, the St. Archer definitely very fresh, very fresh.
Okay.
It tastes like it was like came out of the bright tank almost. It's got that
I
lovely
would
big
like that.
flavor.
I would like that. I don't think we have that. I haven't seen that here, anyways.
And I did not look for. No, I looked. It's a San Diego beer. Hi, Sai.
Oh, hey, Sai. All right.
It's a San Diego beer.
Maybe Sai can send me some if he thinks about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll see this.
I have no idea where Distribution Avenue is, but apparently St. Archer is on Distribution Avenue. So if you're looking for a good IPA, you're in San Diego area, go see them. Good beer.
Good. So, our topic tonight?
Well, I have one bit of news. Molson Coors has been sued.
Oh, I didn't
over
see
their
that.
seltzer name.
Oh no, you're kidding.
I mean, this seems like the most frivolous lawsuit ever. If you go to brewbound.com, the article is called Last Call, Molson Coors sued over Vizzy seltzer name. No, that's the second part. Molson Coors sued over Vizzy seltzer name. Apparently, the makers of Brizzy seltzer.
Oh, that's too much.
Say that they've ripped them off. That it's too, and I do not see the comparison at all. Besides having two Z's in the name, there is no comparison with the artwork. Brizzy has a dot matrix type artwork, and Vizzy has totally different colors and
like fruit
icons.
type.
Yeah, like fruit icons on their cans, and their cans are the tall, skinny cans, whereas Brizzy's are the short, fat 12-ounce cans. So I don't know where they're getting off on this.
And as far as the name goes, I see it as a takeoff of fizzy. So, I mean, they just wanted a sort of a name that sounded like fizzy. I don't think it was anything against this Brizzy thing.
Yeah, Brizzy Seltzer Cocktails is the parent company. Guys, I don't think you got a leg to stand on here. I don't know anything about copyright law, but
me neither.
It doesn't look the same to me at all. It doesn't look like they're trying to rip them off. Doesn't look like it.
And
I definitely wouldn't confuse one for the other.
No. And the thing is, their names rhyme. That's all.
It's just the two Z's. That's it.
I mean, it's just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just too much. People are so sensitive about that.
And Sue happy and come on.
I know, it makes you afraid to do anything.
If you're gonna put your,
I think sometimes.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, sometimes I think like, oh, I could start a company and do this and blah blah blah, and then I think, God no, I don't have the capacity to deal with like all lawsuits, and you have to have legal departments and stuff, and then I start to get weighted down, and I'm like, never mind, I'll just go to work like a good little girl.
Oh,
never mind. I
I
know.
mean,
It's like I get all
it's a worry in the writing.
excited.
It's a worry in the writing industry too. But
Yeah.
if you're putting your toe into the seltzer market, come on.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to jump in there with your product. If you don't think your product can stand up, jumping in against, one of the big ones hoping to get a payout, that's not right. That is not
Yeah.
right. You know,
No, it's
dude,
not. And it's just it's the name. It rhymes with fizzy. That's all I think.
that's it. I
I
think
mean,
they're
you could
hoping to get
have.
it. They're hoping to get an out of court settlement. That's what they're hoping. I can almost guarantee it.
That's not cool.
That is not cool
I
at
hope
all.
they don't. I really no. And I'm not saying I love cores or anything. It's just the principle.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, they're save it for the cases that really matter. When there's really been wrongdoing, then
Yeah.
sue. But don't sue over every little tiny thing.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh, well, now we can jump into our contentious, horrific.
Oh goodness.
You know, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. The United States does not have a healthcare system right now.
No.
I think the Affordable Care Act was it was a good thought. It was a step in
Yeah.
the right direction. But
Mhm.
too much got given up in the making of it, and it
It
made
was
it
gutted.
yeah, it the whole plan was really gutted. So, yes, it was a step in the right direction
Mhm.
for getting people to realize our healthcare system is broken. Unfortunately, it
Mhm.
handed insurance companies even more opportunity to screw us over.
Mhm. Yeah.
I I'm all for removing insurance companies out of the entire healthcare system. Totally, completely. I don't think they have any business being in the healthcare industry.
I don't think it should be for profit. I've always thought that my entire life. Healthcare should not be for profit. Just like education, I mean, there are certain things that are civil type um, institutions that shouldn't be for profit. I mean, the most important thing should be that the people get the care they need,
Yeah. Yep.
and people and healthcare providers should not be making decisions based on what pharmaceutical company gave them the biggest kickback, or what will cost more money. uh, You know, meaning it costs more money, they're going to prescribe it. None of that should be happening. It should be all about patient care. I've always believed that.
It should be. I agree with you there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, how we're actually going to fix that, I don't know if I'm going to agree with
How?
you. I don't know if I'm going to agree with you on that.
Uh oh.
There are so many
Uh oh.
options. There's so many options out there right now. Um, do you have an opinion as to the
Mm-hmm.
best way you think we could fix it?
I don't know what would really work. I mean, ideally, we would have something like Canada or Britain has, but I know people say that has problems. I've heard people say you have to wait weeks for an appointment or you don't get the best care. I don't know what is the best solution, but I know what we have now is broken. I know that I don't make a whole lot of money. I make more than some people, but I don't make a whole lot. And I mean, I live paycheck to paycheck because I'm trying to cram in um, $100 payment on surgery I had, or no, it was I finished paying off the surgery. Now I'm working on the sleep study I had in March. So even with insurance, I still have enormous deductibles and copays, and I'm still paying on this thing I had done in March, and I probably will be for the next year. And then you have $80 copays for every time I see a specialist, and I see a lot of specialists. I mean, it's just, and then you have vision. My glasses cost $500 with insurance. It's just a normal person
So
making a normal wage can't do it.
do you feel like it's just the costs that are starting to that are just piling up on you time after time after time? Uh-oh. Uh,
Ryan,
is our is our internet going? Can you hear me, Lola?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Do you feel like it's the costs that keep piling up on you?
That's my biggest issue. I don't understand how normal people are expected to pay for this. I mean, uh, I was supposed to go see an oral surgeon for some I had some kind of um trauma, that's what they called it, in my mouth, but I think it's healed, so I didn't go. I mean, maybe I should have because I kind of thought it might have been infected, but it feels okay now. So who knows? I could end up with problems later. Maybe I should still go. But I can't even imagine how much it'll cost. It'll be at least $80 because it costs me $80 every time I see a specialist. And then if he wants to do more stuff, that's more money. And I have to go back to the regular DIS and get a whole bunch of stuff done. It's just, when you only make a certain amount of money a year, you're trying to shoehorn all this stuff in it. There's just not enough funds. It just doesn't work. Excuse me.
And medical care, I don't feel the medical care should be that one thing that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah, but it
It really
is.
it really should not. These things should be the things that we can get done, early and get it taken care of. Like a
Yeah,
small like a tooth infection.
yeah.
That's a couple of days of antibiotics at
Hmm.
the worst. You
And I
haven't
didn't get any antibiotics.
yeah.
I don't. I mean, I kind of thought it was infected. I ended up. Don't laugh at me, but I have this herbal stuff I take, and I took the herbal stuff, and my toothache went away, and that thing
Yeah.
healed. And so I'm like, all right, I don't feel it anymore. Just moving along. Here we go.
Well, it's that should not be. We should be able to go,
Hmm.
get the couple of days of antibiotics, and that should have been it.
It
It
shouldn't be a
shouldn't
worry.
it shouldn't be a thing of oh my god, should I go back or should I just, take a chance and leave it alone? That's
Mhm.
how we're winding up with diabetics
That's
dying
how.
because they can't go and get their medication because they can't afford it.
Well, Clint's diabetic.
Yeah.
His medication is $500, and that's insane to me. I can't even begin. I mean, my medication. I take 4 different medications, so I might pay, I don't know, $60 a month, maybe 80 with insurance, but I can't imagine 500.
I mean, like you, I have dental issues.
Yeah.
And the state of Oregon has
Hmm.
been wonderful to me in
Good.
providing, a type of dental insurance and a
Oh,
type of medical insurance for me.
okay. Nice.
But that is state.
Yeah.
So, obviously they can't 100% support everybody in the state.
No. Yeah.
Now I have to think to myself, what happens when we expand that type of program for just the basics
Hmm.
to everybody in the United States? And the costs of that stick in my mind. I mean, I had to go and start looking through what are the options? What is this thing that Bernie Sanders keeps shoving down my throat at every single debate? It's Medicare for all, Medicare for all. And oddly enough, almost all the candidates seem to agree on Medicare for all, which is a single payer system. And
Hmm.
basically, that just means that the government is going to pay the medical facilities. They're going to pay the hospitals. They're going
Yeah.
to pay the doctors. They're going to pay the clinics. We
Yeah.
don't have to pay them.
I'm
there
gonna look
wouldn't
up because I don't remember if Biden is Medicare for all. Do you remember?
he is a type of Medicare for all, but he wants us to be able to get private insurance if we want it.
Okay, I knew there was something there. I knew he wasn't totally on the
No,
Bernie type train.
yeah, he's not completely jumping on. Most of them agree that now every single candidate does agree. Every single Democratic candidate agrees. Every United States person living here should have access to health care.
Yeah,
Period. End of sentence. They should have access.
yeah.
Some of them are going about it far differently. Even Yang does not agree that it should be completely a single payer system.
Okay.
I personally do not agree that insurance should still have anything to do with it because they have shown the color of their flag. They will, at any opportunity, take advantage of us
Cut
and,
cost, overcharge. Yeah.
yeah, and just take you away from what you need. They will do
Mm-hmm.
anything because they are private companies. What they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do is reduce their costs and rip as much profit out of it as they can. So I agree,
Mm-hmm.
like you, no profit. There should be
Mm-hmm.
no profit in
Right.
basic, and I'm still basic medical. Now, what's involved in basic medical is totally up for discussion. But I think all the basic, you get a cough or a cold, you just go to the doctor. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Cut yourself open, break a bone, uh, dental care, uh,
Mm-hmm.
cleanings every year.
Mm-hmm.
If you need a cavity or a cap or a crown, things like that, a root canal, those should
Mm-hmm.
be covered.
Mm-hmm.
Vision. If you need glasses,
Mm-hmm.
get glasses. If you need regular contacts to help you see,
And if you want laser surgery, then hey, guess what? That could cost money.
that could cost. That
Mm-hmm.
could be, yeah, a permanent. Now they could offer because that is a more permanent solution.
Yeah.
They could offer a select program for people who want to do that.
Well, a lot of insurance companies now will give you a discount. You still
Yeah,
have to pay a lot.
if you get discounts, that could convince more people to go through those programs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could convince more people to train as eye surgeons
Mm-hmm.
instead of insurance people.
Yep. That would be nice.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
retrain.
Yeah. Well, and there still need to be people who are processors and underwriters and things like that. You still need people who are knowledgeable about healthcare who will, look at the codes and determine what the prices are and all that stuff, all that processing stuff. You'll still need those people.
Yeah. Oh yes, we definitely will need those people.
Mm-hmm.
But now we come to the question of how are we going to pay for it?
Well, Bernie wants to tax, what is it, like the top earners or whatever. He wants to raise taxes significantly. Mm.
I think now if we do get rid of all the private insurance,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's actually going to save a lot of money and put that money back in the system.
Right, because there wouldn't be extra for profit. It would just be cost for cost. That would be
Yes.
it.
So I think that might work, but opponents such as the academic research strategist at George Mason University
Mm-hmm.
uh, claims that it would increase our cost 32.6 million to 38.8 trillion over 10 years from our costs right now, which are about 3 to 6 million,
Yeah.
what we are covering now. In addition to taxing that top 1 or 2%, I would think they could
Mm-hmm.
have a military budget.
Well, I would like to see that cut, at least the wartime spending type stuff. I would like to see the troops come home from Afghanistan. I would like that cut too, but I don't know if
I
that'll
would really
happen.
like to cut our military. Pardon me. I'd really like to see, get rid of some of those useless ships that we can't use. Some of the useless stuff that we can't
Which
even
ships
afford
are
to. Yeah,
those?
we can't even afford to arm. There are some ships we can't even afford to arm right now. Can't afford to put them out.
Okay.
They don't. They have no.
Yeah.
They have no use. A strong military is one thing. A useless part of the military
Yeah.
is another. We need to bring people home that,
Overstuffing.
yeah, overstuffing and overcharging.
And
Cut some of
firing
that
really
prim.
good.
Oh, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say firing really good career military people because they testified against you in court, like Vindman.
Oh,
Yeah, very upstanding, very good career military person.
yeah. Well, we need to trim some. We need to trim some of the fat in addition to taxing that top 1 or 2%. Now, I'm not saying there won't be problems. Even Canada, with as wonderful a system as they have had to make constant adjustments
Mm-hmm.
year after year to the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously, the Affordable Care Act was a good step in the right direction,
Yeah.
but this would be an animal of a whole different nature because getting rid of that means that we need to transition people from private insurance over
Mm-hmm.
to the public system. Now, kids who are born in, the era of this
Mm-hmm.
would probably be enrolled the second they're born.
Which is awesome, especially for kids who have, you know, health problems from the start. If they have, if they're in NICU for any amount of time, from what I've heard, that wipes out their benefits. Just being in NICU for a month or whatever at the start of their life, that's their maximum lifetime, I guess, insurance. So that would get rid of that problem.
Yeah, it's terribly difficult. You may as well just get them right from, just get them right from the start. But transitioning adults over, uh, it it really depends on whether we use private insurance and a Medicare for all. Most people know Medicare as only, only over 65,
Yeah.
which is how the program started in the first place. The only way they could actually get it started was to make it only for older people.
That's sad.
So now we have to overcome that,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to transition adults to and even Bernie Sanders was told,
Mm-hmm.
don't call it national health care because it people when people hear that term national health care, yeah, they don't respond to it well.
Why?
They don't
I
know.
doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I think my healthcare should be taken care of. Now, I do understand there are problems with that because we've all heard the horrors of the VA. Just recently, I read that a woman at the VA, I don't remember where it was, but she was sexually assaulted by another patient. I mean, like roped and things like that. And she um, reported it, and instead of it being taken seriously, the director of VA is trying to discredit her. He
Yeah,
said
that's
several times that he's
yeah.
trying to discredit her. So
And
there are problems.
many of our veterans have been left high and dry when
To die.
they need consistent care after they've retired.
Mm-hmm.
Cancer patients have been left high and dry without, waiting 4 to 5 months before a visit.
And that's all the time they have left in some cases.
I
People
gave
die
up.
on the waiting
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
I gave up. I didn't like the doctor I that they had assigned to me and asked for another one. And then they started shifting me over towards something called choice.
Mm.
While I was on choice, they started contacting doctors in my area. And the doctors in my area kept saying, we don't want her.
Well, that's horrible.
Yeah. So, these are the after images that you're left with. Local
Mm-hmm.
doctors don't want me because either I'm a veteran or they don't want to deal with my mental health problems or whatever. Maybe they're not getting paid from the VA.
It's probably the money, because a lot of doctors, well, not a lot, but some doctors aren't taking Medicare anymore, and I guess that's because of the money. Because my mother had that problem. She always had to make sure they accepted Medicare before she signed up with a doctor.
Which is weird. You would think that every clinic in America would take Medicare.
They don't, because from what I understand, they're only allowed to charge so much for the stuff they do. Like make less
Mhm.
money out of it.
But even
And
if
I
we
think
could,
that's what
even if
people
we
are
could,
afraid of. Huh?
if we could transition the veterans over to this program,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be good too. It'd be a lot less hassle, I guess, for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I am concerned about how we're still gonna how we're gonna pay for not
Yeah.
only
It's
not
a
only the
lot.
program itself, but the transition. Because obviously
Mm-hmm.
you have to leave the private insurance companies with enough to to be able to scale down their operations so
Mm-hmm.
that they don't feel like they're just having their throats cut.
Well, and I mean, how do you tell all of these businesses you don't have a business anymore? That's hard. I mean, how I don't feel sorry for the big insurance companies of the world, but I still understand that how do you go to a board of directors, stockholders, CEO of a hospital or whatever, or health insurance company and say, Aetna, sorry, you're not going to be able to exist anymore.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I mean, I just don't even know, and I think that rubs some people the wrong way, because that kind of seems to go against America freedom, capitalism and all that stuff. I don't know. I mean, they could still work as administrators of this program,
Mm-hmm.
because we'll still need that. They could all still be administrators of national health care. It's just not for profit. Or would it be? I mean, would they still get a little bit of profit? I don't know. That's another thing. I mean,
Well, a lot of insurance companies would have to go down. They can't all be administrators of the national
yeah.
health system. A lot of them are going to have
Yeah,
to
they
shut.
would definitely be streamlining.
But I don't
Yeah.
want, a string of, Supreme Court charge after Supreme Court appeal over, oh, you've destroyed our economy, and um that would be really, really bad.
hmm And I mean, would people be losing their jobs? I mean, that employs a lot of people, regular people.
Hmm.
I had my health insurance license for a minute, and so at one point I was one of those people, and it's scary. I mean, it's like you said, you only need so many administrators.
Hmm.
But with that being said, they really would need a lot of auditors, because you have to make sure there's not fraud. Like, people say there's a lot of Medicare fraud. You have to make sure there's not fraud. I mean, it has to be tight, it has to run really smoothly. So you would need a lot of people in auditing positions, quality positions, that type of thing. So maybe not a lot of people would lose their jobs.
Yeah, that's true. I I'm I'm a little concerned
Mm-hmm.
that you know in the transition people like you would wind up
Mm-hmm.
paying a price too, and
Yeah.
that's where we'd wind up disagreeing.
Yeah.
Because if you take your deductible and your per month cost, cut that.
Mm-hmm.
But say for like the first 3 years or so,
Mhm.
You still have to pay that in taxes.
Oh, and that's a frightening thought because I'm used to having a tax refund, in February. And if suddenly they say I owe money, oh, that would be very difficult for me. I'm not sure I could adjust. That would be horrible.
Now, I mean, if it were for a limited time, I would accept that. But it would
Mm-hmm.
hit a lot of Americans hard in a transition period.
Yes.
Eventually, yes, we could get there, but we have already proven with the Affordable Care Act, we're not good with
Mm-hmm.
transitions.
No, we're not. Nope. Mm-mm.
The government has not proven that they have a good grasp of the technology necessary, which means we'd wind up having to hire technology to get in
Mm-hmm.
there on this, and for them, that is profit.
Yeah,
They would run it as a profit business, and that's scary. It starts to affect so many, so many outlying things.
that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, they would still need to use third party services, just like the government does now. They use off the shelf software and computer equipment and everything, and that costs money. Now, they may get a discount because obviously they're a bulk purchaser, but I mean, it still costs a lot of money.
And the cloud services for this type of setup would be enormous.
Yes, it would be.
Not just American citizens, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody in the United States
Mm-hmm.
being covered, even if
Mm-hmm.
you're an illegal immigrant, being covered by our healthcare system.
Well, and I would like that. But of course, there are people who would say if they don't pay into it, they shouldn't be able to go. And I don't know how it is in England. Don't I think you have to have a national insurance card to be seen? This would be something maybe Che could answer because he's been in closer proximity to England than we have. And I don't know how Ireland is. Maybe he knows. If you don't have a national insurance card, are you seen at a
Oh,
doctor or hospital? I don't know.
I know. Uh, when my son went to Thailand, he had to prove he had his own insurance under his parents.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, that's not England.
Okay, yeah.
But he did have to prove to the Thai government, and a lot of tourist places now are asking to see proof of insurance before you go,
Hmm.
which is, especially if you're expecting
Wow. So,
especially if you're expecting an extended stay. Students
yeah, they
have
don't want
to
to be
have
on
to
the
be
hook.
covered. Yeah, the other countries don't want to be on the hook. That's where a national health insurance program like Medicare for All could help, because every
Yeah.
single person would be covered for all those basic
Okay.
little things. Like, you break a leg overseas, go ahead, get it seen, we'll cover it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Mm. Well, and that could be another problem too. How much are these overseas doctors charging?
a lot
I
less
mean, they
than
don't
we're
have
getting
agreement.
charged here. I
You
can
think?
guarantee. Oh, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I have seen,
Okay.
I mean, just to get oxygen here for one
Mm-hmm.
night in a basic hospital can cost you up to $20,000.
I used to look at my mother's. She would get the itemization every month or every quarter of what, because she had TRICARE and Medicare. So luckily she didn't have to pay anything. But I would see the itemizations and I was like,
Yeah,
oh
it's
my God.
horrifying, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's
It is.
absolutely horrifying.
I was grateful. I was grateful for Medicare and TRICARE for her. I was truly grateful. And that's another question to think about. Medicare doesn't pay everything. Would national health care pay everything? Medicare does not
That's
pay everything.
that is Now that's where the assignment of basic care, the
Okay.
definition of what qualifies as basic care.
Okay.
Um, Obviously, things to keep you alive and keep you healthy would be covered. But if you felt uncomfortable, if you felt uncomfortable with your body, but
Mhm.
it wasn't necessarily
Like my dermatologist. That's
yeah,
$80 a pop for me. Yeah.
is
I,
that
I can
considered a
handle still
quality? Is
paying.
that considered a quality of life thing, or is
Well,
that
it is for me because you should have seen my acne because my acne came from my citalopram, which is my anxiety medicine. I went on that and I started getting huge cysts in my face. I mean,
oh
huge cysts. So I went to the dermatologist and she put me on medication, which is great, except for it hardened all of the cysts in my face. So I'm still digging cysts
yeah,
out of my face years later. Anyways, that's a whole nother matter. But so while it wasn't life saving, it really made me more likely to be able to live in society without hiding my head all the time and looking
yeah.
down and looking away and stuff. Now, here's a question though. I mean, right now I pay $80 every time I see the dermatologist, and I growl about that and I complain about that. But without insurance, I don't know. You can't even begin to understand how much that would be. Would it be like $400, $500 for a visit? So if we do Medicare for all, but it doesn't include what's the word for it? Extracurricular stuff like dermatology, would I be paying $500 a visit?
I wouldn't expect $500 a visit. I'd expect $500 for the treatment.
Well, but I pay. I mean, think about it, I pay $80 with insurance. So how much are
Okay,
they
but
really getting?
yeah, but here's the thing is that
Mhm.
they are is insurance companies have inflated the costs
That's true. They have.
all out of proportion. So the
Yeah.
real costs of healthcare have now become completely invisible.
Mhm.
We'd actually start to see the real costs
And it
come out
wouldn't
again.
be it wouldn't be this massive amount.
Yeah.
Like she prescribed me all these different creams which I used to use. I don't use them anymore, but one of them cost $160.
Yeah.
So mm,
When I was a teenage well, when I was a young kid, an idiot child,
aw.
chased a
Aw.
boy up a tree. I fell out,
Oh
smashed
no.
my elbows to smithereens.
Oh, ow. Mhm.
Um, Now the cost of that, the actual cost of that was about $3,000.
Yeah, it costs more now. Definitely.
It does, but that is the inflated cost might
Mhm.
drag it all the way up to what, 25,
Yeah.
$27,000 for a broken elbow.
Mhm.
What assigned to a broken elbow? Uh, It's That's ridiculous. We need to start seeing the real costs of healthcare come back into it, but we can't do that without smacking the crap out of the system
Major
we have
overall,
now.
and we won't have millionaire doctors anymore. What do we do about that? I mean, God forbid we take people's Bel Air homes from them. And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, if somebody really wants to be a millionaire doctor, they can be a, a plastic surgeon, elective plastic surgeon, because there's money there.
That's true, but how far do you go with elective plastic surgery if you're going to start making profit off plastic surgery? We already have plastic surgeons that are taking advantage of people's mental health problems.
I agree. If someone really wants to look like Barbie, then there's something mentally wrong with them. And yeah,
Do we continue to let those doctors do this crap
but you know
and then
what?
charge people for it?
Well, but this is the libertarian in me coming out. If somebody wants to look like Barbie, it's their body. Just like I'm pro-choice. It's a woman's body. If she wants to have an abortion, if she wants to make herself look like Did you freeze or did I freeze?
No, I think you froze.
Oh,
I got the gist of it though. If somebody wants to look like
okay.
Bart, we definitely disagree on that. I
All
don't
right.
I don't think that they should be allowed to take advantage of somebody. If somebody wants that drastic a change, there should be some type of oversight committee. Look at what we do to transgender people to make them prove before we allow them to go through transgender surgery. Look at what we make them go through to be sure that they
Well,
want that they absolutely want that surgery.
yeah.
Why are we not doing that for other people that want to change their bodies that drastically? Because you can never go back to the original
Yeah,
completely.
you're always gonna look like Barbie or Angelina
Yeah.
Jolie.
It,
I don't know.
I understand the libertarian point of view, but I
Yeah.
don't agree with it. And I definitely I am all for taking the 1 and the
Mhm.
2% money away from them. Distribute that crap all over the place.
Well, and I wouldn't say that. That's I mean, I don't I don't feel sorry for the 1%, believe me, I don't. And I don't think they're going to endure any hardship if they lose that money. But I also we are a capitalist society, and if we did that, that's a little bit more like communism, and people really don't like communism in this country. I don't know. It's one of those things that's like it's
But I
easy for
don't think
me to
that,
say,
yeah, that money isn't theirs. That money isn't theirs because they're taking it away from people who have worked for that money,
well,
that they should be owing that money to, people who should be able to live on that money.
are we talking about in general the 1% or people
In
who are in
general,
the
in general,
well?
the 1%, that top 1 or 2%, look, that is money. One, they're never going to use, but two, that they have profited off the backs of the hardworking Americans way underneath them on the bottom rung of the ladder. They've profited off of those people, and those are the people that money should be helping to support. So that putting that money in the government for healthcare, I don't mind that. I also don't mind, even though I don't have to report
Mhm.
my income, my
Mhm.
my veterans disability as taxable
Mhm.
income. I only have to report my
Mhm.
the writing income.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mind paying into a healthcare system as long as
Yeah.
it is a reasonable cost.
Mhm.
I should not have to pay over half my income just to be able to say I have healthcare.
I would agree with that. I don't make that much money. I live paycheck to paycheck. If we were in a situation where they wanted to raise the tax bracket to 50% or something,
Yeah.
that would almost devastate me. I won't say it would completely devastate me. I mean, I wouldn't be doing any humble bundles, that's for sure. Mm.
Well, I think I could do a few, I could do a few less beers. I could do a few less humble bundles. I could do a few less games. Uh,
Mm.
if it meant I could get healthcare for a reasonable cost and I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Oregon's program is good.
Mhm.
It does cover the bare minimum.
Mhm.
But there are things that, I would love to get my spine taken care of before
Mhm.
it becomes an issue when I'm 60.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Mhm. Yep.
Right
It's
now, it's $120,000 cost because
oh
that's what the insurance companies tell the doctors they have to
yeah.
charge me.
Yeah. It's like you feel like you can't ask for something that you need. You start to feel like, oh, it'll be a burden. I won't ask. That's
Yeah.
too much of an ask. That's too much of a request. No, I won't do that. Well, we deserve that. My back is bad. I want surgery. we deserve that, but that's not even presented as an option. That's never been presented as an option to me. I went, I said, I have serious back issues, and they gave me, I, they sent me to physical therapy, and I think I saw her twice, and she gave me the orange stretchy thing and a sheet of exercise and said, go home and do this.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's do it yourself, DIY.
See,
Okay.
that's not you should have, and
It's
older Americans that need home care.
hmm
why why should we force all older Americans into homes that they have not chosen for themselves?
Yeah, that's another thing. If my mother had to go in assisted living, it would have been Medicaid. This is the way it was explained to me. She would have haven't had to give up any of her what would you call that, any monetary value that she had. She would have to give up, which by the time she was living with me, she had given up. Her she didn't have a house, she didn't have a car, so she had given up everything.
Yeah.
But you have to be pretty much indigent, and then it's like Medicaid, and that's how you get put in a nursing home. And it is a nursing home, it's not one of these nice facilities. Mm, it's a
Yeah.
nursing home, and
And the
I
term
didn't want that
and the
for
term yeah, and the term nursing home, I mean, having to move into what is nicely termed an assisted living facility.
yeah.
This this should be something that you choose. If you want
Mhm.
to remain living in your own place,
Mhm.
there should be the capability for nurses to come to you to help you do that, as long as you are, obviously mobile, and you're not a danger to
Now,
yourself and other people.
I will say this: when my mom was living with me, there was a company called My Choice. There are a lot of different companies that do the same thing, but this one was called My Choice, and they had a nurse practitioner come out and see her every month. So she didn't have to go to for her regular, monthly checkup. She didn't have to go in, the person came to her. Now we were lucky. We had the most wonderful lady in the world who would spend half an hour with my mom talking to her and, guiding her through stuff. She was great. And then the company switched her for this guy who would come in, spend 2 minutes, and be like, bam, 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 goodbye. And so I called back after a few months about that. I called the company and said, we want Jessica back. So we got Jessica back.
Yeah.
But that was because she chose to be thorough and personable and all that stuff. She chose to take her time, but
Yeah.
the other guy did not. But that's and I'm sure they're probably encouraged not to spend half an hour. They're probably encouraged to spend as little time as possible. But luckily, the lady we had made it work. She would spend time. So
Yeah.
there is that. I mean, that is an option. And my mother had she had uh, physical rehab, and um, oh, what's that other one? Or oh gosh, my brain is fuzzy right now. The one that's occupational health care. So she had
Oh, okay.
physical therapy and occupational therapy. So two different people came out a few times a week to take care of her, and that was all paid for by Medicare and TRICARE. Now, if she didn't have TRICARE, I don't know how much it would have cost her, because TRICARE picked up everything that Medicare didn't. So this is based on
Hmm.
her having supplemental health insurance.
Yeah.
She didn't pay for any of this, which was very nice.
Do you know what
So
did you have the cost of what they would have charged? I
I have
haven't been to,
no
and I mean,
idea.
I've seen they've actually, they've contacted me on LinkedIn and stuff to
Yeah.
offer me jobs, but I've never
hmm
actually seen the costs of nurses come in. And I
I did
that's
see it
that's
on
one
the
of the things
itemization. I don't
that's one of the things
remember.
I never looked at.
I remember my mother. because my mother would look at all that stuff. I would get it and I'd be like, whatever, put it in on the side. But she would look at all that stuff, and I remember she would point stuff out. And this was a woman with dementia. My
Yeah.
mother had full on dementia, but she was also a nurse for 25 years, so she knew what she was looking at, and she'd look at them and go, "They didn't do that. Look,
Yeah.
they charged that twice." And she would look through and go, "I don't that didn't happen." And so there were a lot of irregularities, but I wasn't. I was so overwhelmed at the time. I didn't want to be Norma Ray. I wasn't feeling like being Norma Ray, so I
Yeah.
didn't. I just didn't. And I was grateful that the people were doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I do remember it did have the breakdown. I remember being astonished. I don't remember exactly what it was though.
Well, that actually makes me want to go and find out the real costs of it now.
Yeah,
Um,
go
and
for
not
it.
just the real costs, but like the costs that aren't influenced by the insurance companies.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen what insurance and pharmaceutical companies do
Yes, it's
to not,
ridiculous.
yeah, not just but the Medicare, the medication costs.
Yeah.
I know for a fact
Mm-hmm.
when I go and get a 3 month supply of pseudoephedrine, which is
Mm-hmm.
it's commonly known here as Sudafed,
Yeah.
it is $9 real cost for a
Mm-hmm.
3 month supply.
Okay.
What they wanted to charge the state of Oregon when I
Mm-hmm.
went to go get it was almost $300.
That's horrible. They shouldn't be allowed. I mean, what is that? Like a
$300 for Sudafed, and uh, when I saw the real cost, I was like, I'll just
horrible.
I'll pay for it myself. It's
Now, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. When you talk about the real cost, does that incorporate all the money that the pharmaceutical company put in for research and development? Because that is a lot of money, and
okay.
they have to recoup that.
But this is Sudafed.
I know.
Pseudoephedrine
Hmm.
has been researched
I
far in
know.
the past. That
Yeah,
has been covered for
that's
many
been
years.
done. Yeah.
If somebody came out with a coronavirus
Okay,
immunization,
that's
okay,
yeah, something like that.
I could totally understand.
Hmm.
Look, we spent, however long it took, the hours and personnel necessary,
Yeah.
and each shot cost $2,000.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, okay, I understand. That might be the real cost of the
If
shot
if you
right
can show it,
now.
if they could
Yeah.
itemize it and show it,
Yeah,
yeah.
right now, that might actually be the cost of each
And
and
in
every
that
single
case, the
shot.
government needs to pick up some of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how China works like that. They're communists, so maybe they do pick up the cost. I don't know.
But even here, if it wound up, because it would be so brand new, I would
Mm-hmm.
say that is a reasonable, and with research and all the people that you had to throw into it, um, that actually might be the cost of the shot. The MMR shot,
Mm-hmm.
no. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Diabetes medication,
I know.
why the bleep
Why
do
is
you
it five
think
hundred dollars?
you can charge somebody $500 for something like that?
I know.
Okay, that is just wrong on a totally different
That's
level.
staggering. That is just staggering when it's such a common illness. I
Yeah.
mean, it affects so many people. Well, and I will play devil's advocate. I'm sure a lot of that is lining the pockets of the executives or paying the $100,000+ salaries of the representatives and whining and dining the doctors, because we know they do that. They send basketball tickets to the doctors to entice them to use their medications. We know that
Head Yeah.
happens.
Head desk, head desk, head desk.
That's what I mean about it. It should be nonprofit. That's why I say it should be
Yeah.
nonprofit. No doctors should be making these decisions based on who's going to get them Lakers tickets. That should not be happening.
Yeah. But at the same time, a doctor should not have to worry about paying off their school education.
And that's what I was thinking too. I put that in the notes. That's another question.
We need we need
yeah.
more doctors.
Mm-hmm.
There are places in the United States where there are hospitals being run by one doctor and two
Yeah.
nurses.
Oh my goodness.
Places that, like, I know this whole thing started with me watching Pandemic.
I know. I started watching that. I haven't finished it yet.
Places where the flu is running rampant and they just don't have the personnel.
Yeah.
Doctors should not have to worry about being doctors because they can't afford to pay off the fancy medical degree.
Yeah, why does that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars? Why?
If you want to be a plastic surgeon, I can understand it's going to cost more. If you want to go treat people,
if you want to be a hospitalist,
if you want to go be a GP, you want to be a gastroenterologist, these if you want to save people's lives, you're saving people's lives, you should be able to say, I want to be a doctor. And there should be a place for you in the medical program.
Yeah.
And they should say, finish your degree and it's paid for.
Yeah, what they could do is, and places do this, say, we will pay your college cost as long as you work in the public sector for 5 years. If you work at a hospital, and at that point it'll all be public. If it's sort of like Medicare for all, it's all going to be public anyways. If you work for a approved facility, we will pay your college cost.
Yeah. Now, here's another question, Lola. Should your local clinic / facility be forced to accept Medicare? To be forced to accept the national health care program?
I don't know. That's such a hard question because, there's part of me that doesn't want to force anyone to do anything. But if it's going to work, it needs to be viable. I mean, people need to be able to go see doctors. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's at this point right now, there's so many doctors that if Dr. A doesn't take Medicare, just go to Dr. B.
Yeah. Well, that works in a city situation.
But not in rural. Yeah.
You and I are in cities where you're in a much bigger area. Yeah, you're in a much bigger area than I am right now.
Yeah.
But even I am close to a major hospital. Okay. I am half an hour away from Eugene and an hour by flight away from Portland, which is such a major.
Any specialty you need would be in Portland if you had to have something.
Pretty much I'm within reach of it.
Yeah.
Even if I had a heart attack, I could easily expect
you'd be life flighted or something.
But in the rural areas, I'm wondering, could their smaller hospitals, could their clinics, even their walk-in clinics, could they be forced to accept that insurance as it happens? I mean, it depends. Obviously, they would have to be qualified under the program.
Well, if we're talking about a Medicare for all thing, then profit's not going to matter anyways. It's all going to be a set price anyways. And what I said before about doctors not wanting to take Medicare because the price is much lower than they would get otherwise, well, that won't matter because everyone's being charged the same price. So that will be moot. Right now, I'm not sure if you can tell people they have to take Medicare. It's still a private business. This is still a capitalist society.
So should we be turning more of these hospitals into public facilities instead of private facilities?
I don't know much about how that works.
I mean, even our water and garbage out here are now private instead of public.
They were talking about turning our utilities into private. They're not now though.
Oh, don't let them do that.
Oh,
Go down the
there's been
toilet.
a lot of controversy. Apparently, there's been a lot of jerry rigging and hoodwinking and all kinds of stuff going on. All kinds of shenanigans. Mm.
Yeah, it's really a tough thing because,
Mhm.
as you said, we live in a capitalist society.
Yeah.
You and I have known capitalism our entire
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
Pardon me. But it hasn't worked for us our entire lives.
I know. I got left behind on that train.
Even well, when I was 25,
Mhm.
I could still go to a doctor for a cough or cold at a
Mhm.
walk-in clinic, expect to pay $45, come out with, come
Those were
out
the
with a
days.
come out with a bottle of Dimetap and some antibiotics and just, relax for
Go
a
on
week
your
or
way.
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
and on my way, a doctor's note and it's done.
Mhm.
We can't do that anymore. And even now, I'm being told, pardon me,
Mhm.
for my PTSD,
Mhm.
I have been told that I should go to a walk-in clinic.
Well, that's because it's just a headache. It's not that serious. That's why. That's a whole nother problem. People downplaying this crap. Yeah.
Oh,
What?
Ramus. Here,
What is?
here was me thinking you lived in a democracy.
Well,
Democracy and capital. Well, we don't actually live in a democracy anymore. It's
yeah,
far more like an oligarchy.
it definitely is. It's turned into that because people will do whatever the oligarch says.
This is not a democracy anymore.
Mm-mm. I fully expect that
Yeah, those meme. Yeah,
Lincoln, Washington, they're all rolling in their graves if
those
there's anything
meme.
left of them.
That meme where somebody's sitting at the table.
Head desk.
Somebody sitting at the table. I believe this. Prove me wrong. Yeah, we don't live in a democracy. Come at me,
Yeah.
bro. Come at me.
Yeah, it's just become completely inverted. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I just hope to God in November it gets swept away. Everything that's happened in the last few years gets swept away.
Definitely, I think in this election,
Mm-hmm.
healthcare is, if not the number one item, the
Mm-hmm.
number two item.
Yeah.
If it's a number two item, it's right behind climate change.
Yeah. That'd be
And this
nice.
is only this is the Democratic part of this is picking
Yeah.
our Democratic candidate. This is a primary.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, this
Mm-hmm.
this is not even the issue of the
Mm.
election to pick the president. This is just to pick the primary candidate to be the Democratic candidate for president.
And everyone's
I
shouting over each other.
healthcare is so far up there. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hard to figure out whether we can make a Medicare for all or a national healthcare system even work,
Mm-hmm.
even though we've seen progress by President Obama.
Mm-hmm.
We saw progress, but not everybody
Yeah.
liked Obama's progress. And even I didn't like
Mm-hmm.
everything that was done. I can't afford the programs through Affordable Care Act. I'm more than willing
I
to
know that was
pay.
one of my big problems. I mean, the hundreds of dollars. I'm like, no. If you only make a few $100s,
Yeah,
I mean, you just can't afford that. I'm
I
right
can.
now.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
can't afford
entirely. Yeah.
75% of my income.
No.
And that's my
No.
combined
And
income.
right. And
No.
I thought that made it unusable. That made me so angry when that came out. I was like, it's not usable. People can't use that. And they're forcing it on people. I had a problem also with forcing people to take it or have a penalty. I didn't like that. I understand that practically that was the only way it would work is if everyone pays into it, but I bristle at someone telling me I have to do something, although
And
I have to pay taxes. So
And still, with the Affordable Care Act, the insurance companies are taking advantage of the situation. They figured out how to manipulate it
yeah,
so that the costs are still rising.
it's too much.
That's
Yeah,
way too much, which is another reason why I'm a proponent of the Medicare for all system.
it
I
should be
understand
equal for everybody.
it's going to be, and I'm look, it's I am everybody.
Hmm.
If you're a millionaire, you
Hmm.
should have access to the program.
Yeah,
I
sure.
don't care if you're a millionaire, you should have access to healthcare just like everybody else.
And you know what? I'm okay with if you want to go to the nice clinic in the nice neighborhood, pay for it. Go
And
for it. Get
pay
your
extra for,
Cadillac.
yeah.
Get your
Yeah,
Cadillac insurance. I'm okay with that. Now, my worry about that is that the programs that we use will turn to crap. If they say, well, somebody wants a nice place, they'll go to the nice neighborhood and pay for it. I don't want that either. One of the things I like about the health system I use, it actually used to be sort of like the public health system. The like where you go if you can't afford the regular health system,
yeah,
but they merged with the college system, and so now it's a little bit nicer, and they really have nice buildings. I mean, they've got nice stuff. I mean, really, like, wow. I mean, I'm like shocked. I'm like, this is fancy.
yeah.
But also at the same time, it costs just as much as the other health systems now.
I
So
mean,
whatever, yeah.
I would, there are certain things, pardon me,
Hmm.
there are certain things I would not mind paying extra for at a clinic or at a doctor's
Yeah,
office. Okay.
yeah.
I'm not talking about paying an insurance company for it.
Hmm.
I am exceedingly fussy about my gynecologist.
Yeah, I used to be. I kind of got over that, but
I
yeah.
am highly fussy about who gets to
Mm.
touch me down there.
That's, you know what? True story. I once had a gynecologist who was in there, and he started talking to his assistant about the football game. I did not like that. I was just like,
That's just creepy.
I know. I was like, oh God, I'm in hell. It happened. I'm in hell. I died and I went to hell. So I'm sorry. Go
I
on.
know
That
it,
just reminded me of that.
I know it's a fussy thing. I mean, but
But it's important to you.
I mean, if I could find a gynecologist with, nice flowery sheets on the table and
Yeah. Not cold instruments. They need to warm up those instruments.
I might pay a little extra for that every year.
A hot towel and
I
warm
might do that.
instruments, maybe.
Make it a spa day. I might,
You know what?
spa and
That's a good
gynecologist.
idea.
There we go. Spas and
That's okay.
gynecologists together. I might actually agree to pay for that.
And then, minimize the gynecology part of that. You could be like in the steam thing and be like, and then the gynecologist creeps in with the spatula and they're like, just keep relaxing. You're all cool. And the spatula goes in and you're like,
It's a speculum.
okay.
It's a speculum.
Oh, whatever. Speculum spatula. I've never actually looked at it.
It feels like a
It
spatula
feels
though.
like a spatula. I mean, and it cranks. And they always say, "Oh, this is going to be uncomfortable," and I'm like, "What are you doing in there?" And you hear the crank, and you're like, "What are you doing?" So yeah, speculum, spatula, spatulum, whatever. Anyways, it's cold. Whatever it is, it's cold. And I never really thought that I could feel in there, but I can. I can feel cold.
There really aren't a whole lot of ways to make a mammogram any easier.
Oh my god.
It really,
They need
really.
to do something. They
There
need to
really are
R&D that stuff. I'm sorry.
I mean, there really isn't a way to make it more comfortable.
Why can't
But
they bring the X-ray down to me? Why does my breast have to go up to it?
but
Why
here's the
can't
thing
they bring
that
it down and cup it?
there's there's more, way more than 20% of the women in the United States which don't have them which really need them and never get them.
I don't think I've had mine this year. I don't think I had mine this year. I don't remember. No, I did because I went to my health system for it. I did.
I
And
mean,
that's actually free.
it's
That's paid for.
I think it's recommended at 45. And I mean, I'm
Yeah.
definitely 10 years off of that.
Yeah, no. No. Yeah, no.
But they are, every single woman should have the ability to have one if they are at
Mhm.
risk, if or if they're at that recommended
Definitely.
age where they should have it,
Definitely.
because knowing is far better than not knowing. And
When it's
it
too
is
late.
exactly when it's too late, um, or when it's going to cost more to fix the problem than to
When you
try
have
to
to go through
prevent it.
chemotherapy and you have to
Yeah.
have your mastectomies. Yeah.
Mastectomies and, yeah, it's humiliating,
Mhm.
terrible, awful, heart-wrenching procedures. It shouldn't get to that point unless it's really necessary.
Well, and
If you
sometimes it
can,
just gets to that point no matter what.
well, rapidly progressing cancers, yes.
Yeah.
But even there are rapidly progressing cancers that can be taken care of to save a woman's life.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, they're not even getting that. They're dying, not even knowing what they're dying of. And it's only
Mm-hmm.
after they're dead that they find out, oh, it was breast cancer and we could have done something about it. If we'd
And
only
a lot of that is because as women we're taught to take care of everyone else and not ourselves.
known.
I have that. My mom had that. No, no, I'm fine. You go take care of yourself. I'm fine.
And
We're taught to do that.
this should be the healthcare industry, telling us we will worry about it. Just come in, get your scan, let us let you know. You know,
And I
that
will give
that is our job to make sure that you know what's
yeah.
going
And I will say with my insurance, I don't have to pay for my mammogram, so that's good. And thanks to Obamacare, I don't have to pay for my physical every year. So there are things,
thanks to
so
Oregon,
that's good.
thanks to Oregon, I have access. The Oregon healthcare system for me is what should happen at the national level.
Yeah,
We should be
it
able
should.
to go in and not have to worry about a copay if we don't,
Hmm.
we just flat out don't have the money.
Right.
Even the homeless in the United
Hmm.
States should be able to walk into a doctor and say, "I feel horrible.
Yeah.
Please tell me what's wrong with me. Give me something to, fight this chest cough, whatever, all the way through, cancer treatments."
Hmm.
Everybody should have health care. It should be a
Yeah.
human right.
We all deserve that. We're all, in that respect, we're all the same. We're humans and we need to be loved. I'm sorry, that's a Morrissey lyric. I know it just came out. But
But
I
that's
am human and I need to be loved.
exactly.
Hmm.
We should love the humans in our life enough to say you deserve health care.
Right. Exactly. Oh, Tuxaramus says the UK and Scandinavia also make lots of money in our Western capitalist economies, yet they provide health care for their citizens. That's a good point. I mean, they have health care for all and they are capitalists. So we need
Well,
to look at how they do it.
Scandinavia can reasonably be expected to continue making money.
Well, what do you mean?
Brexit.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, in
Sorry,
Scandinavia, that's okay. Yeah.
I'm,
But
I'm being an asshole.
no, it's fine. But Scandinavia, I think they charge a lot in taxes. I remember there's some country
Yeah,
that charges, is it
they're still comfortable because even their minimum wage allows
mhm,
people to live comfortably.
good? And see, that's the thing. We have to pay people enough to be able to pay, 50% of their income and still have a livable income left. It's just there has to be a lot of planning that goes into it. I mean, we got to think about the outcomes and plan ahead.
Well, I know. Well, there are comments on other areas.
Mm.
I think Jason thinks it's stupid to think government
Oh, I didn't realize he was talking.
they they can't even run an election in Iowa. I just think government can never be a solution. It's not the well, the government would be the facilitator, not we would be the decider of whether healthcare should actually we would be the decider whether healthcare should go through that single payer system or not. The government would just be the facilitator where the payments would go from the government into the healthcare system. Canada has proved it can work.
Yeah.
There may be problems. There may be, adjustments that have to happen. And I
Mm.
agree that our government is not reliable right now. It is not.
Mhm.
uh, what happened to the Affordable Care Act and the healthcare so far and the insurance company debacle. That's true. They are all out to take advantage of us.
Yeah, and I think Canada would be a good model because it's a large country like we are. I
Yeah.
mean, UK is a much smaller. well, Britain is a much smaller government than ours. Scandinavia, that isn't Scandinavia more like a group of countries, or is that actually a country? I forget.
Uh, I'm not that up on it. I was
I
actually thinking Norway, not Scandinavia.
Yeah, and they also call it the Netherlands, which I think is Holland.
The
I get
Netherlands
confused
is
about that.
actually a group of an
Yeah.
area.
I knew, okay, so that's a group. So Scandinavia, I'm not entirely sure what that encompasses. But my point is, it's a much smaller area, so it's more manageable because it's smaller. For us to really look at how it might affect us, we should probably look at a big country like Canada and see what they do.
Scandinavia is a large region of northern Europe that is
Yeah,
predominantly made up of the Scandinavian peninsula. The peninsula contains the countries of Norway and Sweden.
that's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
But it's
it's a
still
group
small,
of
huh?
countries.
It's still a small area, so it's going to be more manageable for them. It's less people. Us and the United States, we do not get along with each other. I mean, it's really hard to corral us into one way of thinking. So it will be a task. And Jason, of course, he thinks government should have nothing to do with it.
I
I
know, I mean,
uh,
I disagree there, but
yeah,
I understand the distrust.
I do too. I mean, there's a phrase that says the scariest phrase you can hear is the government's here to help. I
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
I'm I
I
said that wrong.
no, I flinch at that because that
Mm.
is kind of true.
That's how we feel sometimes. It's like,
Um,
oh gosh, no.
I am going to take a moment to visit
Okay,
the little
okay,
children's room. I
you
will be
go.
I will be right back.
Okay, I'll read some of that. Okay, for some reason, Cy and Jason can't tweet twat on Twitch, can't chat on Twitch. I don't know why. So they're on our own private chat talking. And Cy said it would be a thing if Medicare were better, not like we all don't already pay for Medicare. Yes, we all pay for Medicare, but I kind of feel like I was paying for what my mom got. And hopefully the what's the new generation, whoever they are, they're going to pay for me. Hopefully, that's the plan, anyways. If they all get jobs, get off their butt and get jobs. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Sai said, I used to literally just walk into a random doctor's office and get treatment. Never had to get someone's approval or had to pay some exorbitant fee. Um, yeah, the insurance has gotten a little bit better. I don't have to get approval. There's no pre-approval or anything. I can go wherever I want as long as they're in the network. But it still costs a lot of money, and I still have to get some um, things approved, like procedures approved. I'm saying that with insurance nowadays, I don't need pre-approval to go to doctors. Like I could go straight to a dermatologist if I wanted to. I
Yeah.
don't have to get a permission from my general practitioner,
Yeah.
but I still do need to get approval for procedures. So I can't just
Uh-oh.
say I want to what?
Oh, you dropped a little bit, but that's okay.
Uh-oh.
You're
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, so basically, I'm just saying, while I don't need approval to go to specialist, I can't just say I want this kind of procedure and get it done. A procedure still need to be approved.
Hmm.
But I can kind of understand that because I mean, if I just go and say I want an X-ray because I just want one, I just want an X-ray. Well, my insurance not going to pay for that. They need a reason, so I kind of get it. But at the same time, because it's so streamlined, there's no room for me to say, "I think your diagnosis is wrong." For instance, I've had an issue with my bladder for like 10, 15 years, actually 20 years now. And when I finally told the doctor about it, well, her solution was to send me to radiology to get an ultrasound. Well, I didn't understand that they would need for me to still have stuff in there, so I peed before I went.
Oh
Which,
yeah, yeah. They don't
yeah.
tell you all the information. Then you got to go back.
Well, no, I didn't give. That was the end of it. That's the thing, though. The way
Oh,
it
you
is
never went
nowadays,
back.
no, I wasn't allowed. That was the end of the train. I mean, basically, it came back normal. And
Oh,
so
okay.
that was the end of discussion. So now it still takes me 15 minutes to pee, and I don't want to be gross or anything, but I have to buy not the diapers, but the pads. And nothing ever got done. That was the end of the train because when I went in the ultrasound and they scanned me, they said there's no urine there. I'm like, well, that's because I peed before I came in here.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't know.
I
I
pee.
mean,
I pee literally like every 5 minutes, and I can't make it through an entire
me
movie.
too.
I always have to be a front row person because I can't make it through a whole movie without going at least
I
5
always I
times.
always have to sit on the side.
But
I
I
always
always
sit
thought,
on one of the end rows because I don't.
I always assumed that was because I had two kids. And yeah, like you,
Me,
like
it's
you, I use the pads, and it is humiliating to me to walk in the store
it
and get those
is.
pads. Far more humiliating than when I was a teenager and I had to pick up menstruation pads.
Well, that's cool because you're an adult. When you finally get your period, you're like, yeah, I'm on my period. Look at me. But when you're 40 something and you're buying Depends, it's like, yeah.
Oh,
And, I mean, it's still uncomfortable. Every time I sneeze, it comes out.
yeah. And
And
we just
it
don't,
takes
we
me
don't
15
know.
minutes to pee because, yeah.
And we never know. We don't know. Is this supposed to happen now? Is this not supposed to happen?
Well,
Do we see a doctor to talk
I've
about
been
this?
dealing this I've been dealing with this for more than 20 years,
Yeah.
and I could never get anyone to take me seriously. There's something wrong down there. And I did have one doctor tell me that I could probably have surgery. And I'm like, well, that's money I don't have.
Yeah.
So that's
And
why
there you
I
go.
didn't make any noise.
That's
Mm.
and there you go. That's what happens. I don't have the money to deal with this, so forget it. I will just deal with it.
I'm just gonna pee
But
every time I laugh or sneeze.
but here we go. How many how many infections have we gotten that could have been prevented? You
That's
know,
true.
how many times have we had those accidents that could have been prevented?
Mm.
You know, because what it really took was for us to have that ultrasound or for us to have that surgery to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might have turned out far differently if we hadn't had to worry about paying for that.
Yep. And see, I didn't make noise about, I need this surgery because I don't have money for it. I know I don't have money. And I
Yeah.
do worry about, I feel like basically it's a factory. It,
Yeah.
you get in and get out, and there's no room for me to say, but I still have this problem. I mean, it's like next, 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 and I worry, and that's with insurance.
Yeah.
And I worry that if we do go to this Medicare for all, I don't want it to be like a factory, a
Yes.
procession. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to be seen as just the next person on the line.
Just a number. And that's what people say about the VA. That's how some people feel with the VA.
But that's how I feel now with any doctor.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And I pay money. I pay good money, and
So
I'm yeah.
so there's, right now
Hmm.
it's still just as bad.
I'll tell you.
And
All right.
we're paying through the nose for this crap.
And you know what I don't get? Okay, I see nurse practitioners, which by the way, I pay the same amount when I see the nurse practitioner than when I see the doctor. What's up with that? When I was in college and I didn't have insurance, I would see nurse practitioners because it costs less. Why am I paying the same amount of money to see a nurse practitioner versus a doctor?
Because it costs the insurance company less.
But why don't I see any of that savings? I don't understand.
Exactly. Exactly. Right
Makes no sense. And this has happened the last few times. I've seen different nurse practitioners, and the nurses do this too. It drives me crazy. They look at the computer and they say, "Why are you here today?"
there. Yeah.
And I'm like, "Because I'm on anti-anxiety, and the doctor wants to, or the nurse practitioner wants me to see me every 3 months to make sure that I'm not like suicidal or something, I guess." And then they look and they're like,
Yeah, they look at
"Okay,
you
are
like,
you?"
why bother?
I
Yeah.
know. And it's like they're asking me why I'm there. I'm like,
Yes.
because the doctor said, well, the nurse practitioner said I had to be here. And they're like, are you diabetic? And I'm like, no. I'm like, why are you asking me these questions? You have all this right in front of me. Can't you at least pretend to act like you already saw this?
Yeah.
Can't you pretend? I mean,
Yeah.
oh, and when I went to the sleep doctor, this last time, I was diagnosed. I don't have sleep apnea, but I have restless leg syndrome, and that causes me to wake up 18 times an hour. I had
Yeah.
the whole sleep study and everything. They determined that, and that's why I'm so tired. So I've been going to the sleep doctor for like 2 years now, and I've even seen this nurse before. So the nurse says, "Why are you here?" And I said, the doctor just likes to check to make sure my iron's okay and make sure the medicine's okay and everything. And she said, "Well, did you bring your mask with you?" And I said, "I don't have sleep apnea." And she said, "Well, is this your first time here?" And I said, "No, I've been here plenty of times." She said, "Well, what do you mean you don't have sleep apnea? Like that's the
Like,
only
that's the
reason
only
I
thing.
would be there."
Yeah.
I was like, "I don't have sleep apnea. Is this your first day on the job?" I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. I was like, "What are
See,
you saying that if
should have said it.
that pissed me off?" I mean, I was like,
If she gets to
kind of.
insult you, you get to insult her.
Well, I mean, I couldn't get put words together. I was just in shock. I
Yeah.
was like, I mean, I just really could not get words out. I was like, but I mean, I was looking at her like this. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't have sleep apnea. I said I have less restless leg syndrome. I wake up 18 times an hour, and I wanted to say it's in the freaking chart, but I didn't because God forbid I be seen as hostile. I don't want an incident. I don't want an incident where they refuse to see me because I'm seen as hostile. So I was just like, I was doing it all with my face though. I was like, what? And things like that I remember. Luckily, the
Yeah.
doctor said I don't have to come back for another year. And the doctor is fabulous. I love the doctor. The doctor is so beautiful. She's Slavic. I don't know exactly what country she's from, but she is so pretty. I don't know what it is about Eastern European countries, but the women are so beautiful. She's tall. She's like probably like 6'2", long brown hair, just beautiful. And I just been the entire time going, and I almost caught myself saying, "You're so pretty."
Yeah, watch
She's
out because in the new regime, you're going to get charged extra for that.
well, and I don't want to seem creepy and like, sexual assaulty or anything. She's pretty. I can't help it. And I'm just like, and like, I found myself just listening to her talk and I had to be like, okay, what do you want me to do? Like, having to ask her to repeat
Yeah.
because I was just like, she's so pretty. And she's so nice and so awesome. I just love her to death. So she's awesomely cool. That's why I'm like, stupid nurse can be stupid. I don't care. The doctor's awesome. And the doctor knows why I was there. That's what matters.
Well, we've been talking for about 2 hours, so we
Yeah,
should probably wrap it up.
I guess so.
And our wonderful producer found one of the most wonderful humble bundles
Oh, good.
just for us. Now, if you like our podcast and you like what we do, we do appreciate support. Thank you so much. If you'd like to subscribe on Twitch, that would be fantastic. But on our Twitter at
Oh,
BeeryGE, we set out a humble bundle link, and if
got a
you
good
purchase
one.
that humble bundle link, it will help us cover the costs of our servers and our production costs.
Ooh,
Because goodness knows
ooh.
we don't get a paycheck from this.
Yeah, no, we don't.
And this week's humble bundle is love, dating, and sex
Ooh, 100 questions about sex.
by Chronicle Books.
Ooh,
Yeah, $1 or more,
fantasy
and you can
sex.
get 100 questions about sex, which is
Ooh,
get the conversation started. I,
perfect for Valentine's Day.
yeah, it is. It is. This is totally cool for Valentine's Day,
Tantric sex.
especially if you want to get the conversation started with somebody you really like.
Kama Sutra. It's Kama Sutra reference to go. I don't even know what that means. Is it Kama Sutra to go?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Mhm,
For $8 or more, my
mhm.
style, cheese and wine.
And see, I love cheese and wine. This is sad, but I'm like, oh, sex, cheese and wine.
Cheese and
Yeah.
wine.
I'm like, yeah, whatever, love, sex, whatever. Cheese
I
and wine.
don't know. I think it's pretty equal for me. I think my lovely one giving me a bottle of
Oh.
wine or giving me a chunk of stinky cheese, and yeah,
Or
I'm
his
happy. I'm happy.
or his chunk of stinky
Makes it,
cheese.
it makes my little heart patter enough to I get all excited.
You get in the mood and you're like, let's do this thing, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Yeah, or for $15 or more, you can get into the serious stuff with some
Yeah.
tantric Kama Sutra. I
Woo.
like you. I love you.
Yeah. And then the cookbooks, newlywed cookbook,
The newlywed
vegetarian.
cookbook. Newlyweds will love that book. It's fair. And I've read that one.
Poem. Do you
I
have?
I have read the newlywed cookbook. It is
Okay.
so cute.
Oh.
And it's things you can do together. You know, when
Oh.
you're in that awkward period of we're now living in the same space, but we
Mm-hmm.
haven't lived together before. Um, how are we going to handle all it? It takes care of a lot of the food aspect of it.
Nice.
These are things you can cook together. These are activities you can do together, and it makes it far less awkward.
Okay.
And it does support a charity. It supports the Book Industry Charitable Foundation,
Good.
which
Okay.
does help young readers.
Hmm. And yesterday I bought the Star Trek bundle, the comics bundle.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yep. So I downloaded one onto my Kindle. I haven't read it yet. I'm still reading the career bundle pack that I bought. I was reading that today.
Well, I will definitely get that. I will get the love and sex bundle out, and we will resend out the bundle for Star Trek.
Oh, Jason.
Yeah, love, dating,
Jason.
sex, and
Jason. Jason. Okay, I'm gonna take
No,
Take
no,
a
no,
little
no, no.
issue.
We're no, we're done.
We're done. We're
We're
done.
done.
Okay.
We're done. I will make sure
Um,
that both bundles get out on our Twitter, which is at BeeryGE. Um, don't forget, we are both authors, and we both have stuff that you can buy. I I love your book, Lola. I really do.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Can you tell us where to find you?
I revamped my website. I went in and
Yay!
I went in the nuts and bolts and I made it mine. And now the text is pink and it has a black border around it. And I put my Trudy Limb banner up, and it even has a gold dust banner around or thing around it. So look at my revamped website, lolalarisy.com, LOLARISCY.com, and I'm also on at Lola Laracy on Twitter.
Excellent. And you can find me on Twitter at L Tepler, or alternately, you can find me at Sorceress0S0RCERESS0. You can also find me on Amazon, Linda Tepler, lindatepler.com. Uh, you can always find me on Beery GE on Twitter, and we're also on Beery Good Entertainment is also on MeWe. Well, guys, I think that is about it for tonight. Thank you so much, Lola, for coming and talking about this really not easy topic. Not
I
easy
know
topic
it's
at all.
frustrating. It
It's
gets very frustrating.
it's frustrating, and it's going to affect our choices when it comes to
Yeah,
action. So
yeah.
it's very difficult. But thank you very much for taking the time.
You're welcome, and thank you very much.
Well, guys, we hope that you've enjoyed this little chat of ours, and we hope that you have a really great night, and we hope that you have a really great beer. See you later.